AITA for secretly buying back my childhood home before my family could sell it. Throwaway account because a few relatives use Reddit. I 30M, grew up in a small blue house at the end of a quiet street. It wasn't fancy. The roof leaked every spring, the floors creaked loud enough to wake the neighbors, and the backyard was mostly dirt with one giant oak tree that my dad refused to cut down. To everyone else, it was just an old house. To me, it was my entire childhood. My dad passed away when I was 16, and my mom worked 2 jobs just to keep us afloat. My older brother, Jake, moved away as soon as he graduated high school and rarely came home except for holidays. I stayed, helped mom with bills, and eventually left for college after earning a scholarship. Over the years, life got busy. I landed a good engineering job several states away, got promoted twice, and finally reached a point where I wasn't living paycheck to paycheck. Mom still lived in the same house. Every Christmas, she'd tell me, "One day this place will belong to you boys." I always smiled and said the same thing. I don't care about owning it, I just hope it stays in the family. Apparently, I was the only one who meant that. 6 months ago, Mom announced she wanted to retire and move into a smaller condo. She said maintaining the old house had become too much. That made sense. Jake immediately started talking about selling it. "The market's hot," he said. "We'll make a fortune." Mom looked uncomfortable but nodded. I asked whether either of them had considered keeping it. Jake laughed. "For what? Nostalgia doesn't pay property taxes." That stung more than I expected. I asked Mom privately if she'd ever consider selling it to me instead. She hesitated. "I don't want your brother accusing me of playing favorites." So I dropped it. At least that's what everyone thought. A month later, Mom hired a real estate agent. The house was listed online. Seeing those pictures felt strangely personal. The photographer had staged every room. Dad's old workshop was empty. My bedroom looked like a hotel. Even the oak tree had been trimmed. It didn't feel like home anymore. Then I noticed something interesting. The listing had almost no activity. The house needed repairs, and buyers kept choosing newer homes nearby. Weeks passed. Price dropped. Still no offers. Jake grew impatient. Every family dinner became another complaint. We should have listed lower. The realtor's useless. At this rate, we'll be stuck with it forever. I stayed quiet. Instead of arguing, I called the realtor myself. Not to interfere, to ask whether the owners would entertain a private offer. She said yes. I asked her not to mention my name. She agreed. A week later, an LLC submitted an offer just below asking price. The offer required no financing contingency. Cash purchase, 30-day closing. Jake wanted to reject it immediately. Mom wasn't sure. The realtor explained that cash buyers were rare for older homes needing repairs. After 2 days of discussion, they accepted. Here's the part nobody knew. I owned the LLC. Years earlier, my accountant suggested creating one for investment properties. I'd never actually bought anything with it. Until now, I wasn't trying to trick anyone. I just knew if Jake realized I was buying the house, he'd suddenly insist it was worth another $100,000. Or accuse Mom of giving me a discount. This avoided all of that. Everything stayed professional. Independent appraisal. Market value. No family drama. At least, that was the plan. Closing day arrived. Papers were signed. Money transferred. Everyone celebrated finally selling the house. Then, right after the closing meeting, I handed Mom a new set of keys. She looked confused. "What are these?" I smiled. "They're yours." She frowned. "I don't understand." I took a deep breath. I bought the house. Silence. Complete silence. Jake actually laughed. Then he realized I wasn't joking. His face changed instantly. "You what?" I explained everything. The LLC, the cash offer, the closing, the plan. Mom started crying. Not loud sobbing, just quiet tears. She hugged me harder than she had in years. Jake wasn't nearly as happy. You manipulated us. No, I replied. I bought the house you wanted to sell. You lied. I never lied. I just didn't tell you I own the company. He called me sneaky, selfish, manipulative. Said I had gone behind everyone's backs. I reminded him that he'd spent weeks saying he didn't care who bought it as long as someone paid asking price. Apparently, that only applied to strangers. Over the next few days, the family split into two camps. Some relatives thought what I did was incredibly sweet. Others claimed I'd deceived my own family. Then Jake made things worse. He started telling everyone I'd pressured Mom into selling cheaply. Except, every document proved otherwise. Independent appraisal, independent realtor, independent inspection. The sale price was actually a little above comparable homes nearby, because I waived every repair request. Mom finally spoke up during one family dinner. She looked directly at Jake. He paid exactly what the house was worth. Jake argued that I should have simply told everyone beforehand. Mom asked him one question. If he'd told you, would you have let him buy it peacefully? Jake didn't answer, because everyone already knew the answer. No, he would have fought over every dollar. It's been 4 months now. Mom still has her condo, but every Sunday she comes over to the old house for dinner. I restored Dad's workshop exactly as it was. I repaired the porch swing. I replanted Mom's flower garden. Even the old oak tree is still standing. Last weekend, Mom sat on the porch and quietly said, "It still feels like home." That sentence alone made every dollar worth it. Jake still barely talks to me. Some cousins insist I should apologize for hiding my identity during the purchase. I don't really see it that way. I paid full market value. Nobody lost money. Mom got exactly what she wanted financially. The house stayed in the family. The only person upset is the one who never wanted the house in the first place. So, am I the asshole?